You know, we knew when the Penguin started airing, we were watching something special, like right from the first episode. But little did we know the damn thing would go on to win 9 Emmy Awards, tons of other awards at different things, including Colin Farrell winning, Milioti winning an Emmy for actress. It was just incredible. Now, there's been a lot of talk about whether or not the Penguin truly is a limited series or not, which is what it competed as. It competed at the Emmys as a limited series. And there you have it. And Colin Farrell, we talked recently about Colin Farrell saying, yeah, I don't even think we should do another season. I think we nailed it. We got lucky to nail it. Let's just move on. And that's been the thoughts of a lot of people. But, you know, after winning 9 Emmys and after being such a success and after having all the people love it and all that kind of stuff, it's really not a surprise that the head of HBO Max, Casey Bloys, is now saying, we are looking at definitely doing Penguin season 2 after all that success. Let me read what he said. He said this: they're kicking around ideas, talking about Matt Reeves and the showrunner, LaFranc, who was the showrunner of Penguin. He said they're kicking around ideas. Obviously, Matt's got to get the next Batman movie going. That is underway, I believe, Bloy said. So I think he and Lauren LaFranc are talking about ideas. So I'm hopeful that there will be another story to tell. So the head of the network, the head of HBO Max is saying, oh, yeah, we want part 2. We want part 2. And listen, I understand. I totally do. I don't think there's anything wrong with anybody who's saying, leave well enough alone, which is something Colin Farrell himself kind of alluded to. Leave well enough alone. It was practically perfect. No need to do any more. Leave it as it is. I get that. However, I'm glad nobody said that after the first season of The Sopranos. When you look, and listen, a lot of people, rightfully so, have made a lot of parallels and comparisons to Sopranos, because it really was Sopranos juxtaposed into a comic book universe. When you have characters that you make this great, and that's where the real triumph of Penguin was they made the characters amazing.
Justice for Victor.
Justice for poor Victor. And
Vic.
When you have characters like that, there are always more great, maybe even better stories to tell. And so with all the comparisons to The Sopranos, we looked at The Sopranos. Like season after season after season, they just kept having compelling, great stories to tell because it was built on a foundation of compelling, great characters. And when you have that, you have a lot of places to go. And by the way, it's not like Penguin season 1 ended like The Sopranos ended. It's not like it ended with Victor, who, oh my God, he didn't die, coming out of nowhere and shooting Oz in the head and having his head explode and bleeding out. It ended with major open doors to tell more stories. If anything, it created a more intriguing underworld of the world that Oz lived in that Gotham. So look, I'm not saying they have to do another one, but when you've got that much success and you have the head of the studio saying, this is what I want, and you get all these awards coming in, Rob, at this point, obviously nobody can guarantee we're going to get a season 2, but at this point, I'm going to say this: I will be shocked if we don't get a season 2. I think we're going to get one, and I honestly think we are but months away from getting it. And then before anybody says, well, yeah, but Matt Reeves has to do all this work on the Batman 2, we don't want to delay that. Matt Reeves didn't direct the Penguin.
Produced.
He didn't showrun the Penguin. Right? He had other people, partners, creative partners working with him who brought that across the finish line. Obviously, Matt Reeves needs to be involved, but he can keep all of his focus on the Batman if that's what he wants to do. And these other spin-off series that we talked about the other day, he's alluded to that he wants to do. So anyway, Rob, you hear what the head of HBO Max is saying. Is that just a heat of the moment because, oh my God, we're winning all these Emmys? Or do you think, again, I think there's a good argument to be made for just leaving well enough alone, but how are you feeling about this? And do you think we will get another season?
Well, I mean, it's a great question, but I think that the thing about the Penguin was, you have an 8-episode miniseries. This is not like you have to come up with a whole season, an ongoing show. If 8 episodes are all you have to do, and a second season, after the excellence of this show and after seeing what they could accomplish, the production was top-notch, the acting was incredible, the storytelling was amazing. As long as you are following that. Like, it's not about the awards. It's about the fact that this was really compelling and beautifully created programming. It's great work. So why wouldn't it's what HBO specializes in. We specialize in great work, top shelf, Tiffany programming. And as long as they can continue that, and the great thing about Penguin is they don't have to worry about seasons 3, 4, 5, and 6. They don't have to worry about a through line or anything. We can tell.
That's what I wanted to mention, is that with a lot of these shows, the showrunners are expected to come to the networks with a 3 or 4 season arc that they want to do. You nailed it. They don't need to just come up with one 8-episode story. And if you don't do any more, you don't do any more.
And the thing is, the people that made the show are smart enough to realize, if you look at all the great showrunners that are working on TV, people like, Vince Gilligan, you want to look at how to do a prequel series, look at Better Call Saul. I mean, that is same with, like, the quality of Andor. And you think if anybody's delving into sequels or prequels or whatever, or doing a second season, you want writers that are the best writers in the business. And Penguin had those writers. And if they're going to sit down and do a second season, you put that team back together again, they're not going to choke. They are going to deliver something, and it's going to be thoughtful. It's going to be well thought out. It's going to be well scripted. The writer's room is going to be tight. They're going to know what they're doing. And when they go into production, they're going to have that. They're going to have tight as drum scripts and a story that they know exactly what they're doing, because that's what HBO demands. And so doing a second season of any HBO show is not a shameless cash grab, because that's not what HBO does. Look, sometimes second seasons might not be as good, or they'll be better or something. But with Penguin, I think it's a no-brainer to want to put that team back together, have Matt Reeves producing, and it just adds to Warner Brothers, it adds to DC, it adds to the history of DC characters on film, and most of all, it's a great HBO Max entry. And so there is no downside. Why not?
Yeah, I agree. Guys, we want to thank the sponsor of today's episode, PrizePicks. Look, you and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right actually means you win. And with football back, there is no better time to get in on the action. You guys know I've been using PrizePicks for a while now, and it's honestly the most fun I've had engaging with the new football season already. For example, this weekend, I had Josh Allen throwing for more than 270 passing yards, and Baker Mayfield having more than 2.5 passing touchdowns, and boom, I won on both. Building your lineups on PrizePicks is fast, simple, and honestly extremely fun. All you have to do is pick more or less on 2 to 6 player projections, and if you're right, you win. What's even better is that PrizePicks invented the flex play, which means you can still win even if one of your picks doesn't hit. Plus, they've even got this thing called injury reboots, so if a player goes down in the first half, it won't count against you. And PrizePicks operates in more than 40 states, including California, Texas, and Georgia. So download the app today and use code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CAMPEA to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks. It's good to be right. Anyway, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? The boss at HBO Max is saying, yeah, I want another season of this. Matt and the showrunner are already starting to come up with ideas for what a second season could be about. I don't have any doubt they're going to be able to come up with several great story ideas. Anyway, whatever you guys feel about it, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.